Now for more on what's happening at NATO headquarters in Brussels, I'm joined live via Skype by VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb, who is traveling with Secretary Austin. Carla, welcome back to Africa 54. Let us know what's the response of the contact group following Secretary Austin's appeal.
Well, you heard it. He said this is a marathon, not a sprint, and there have already been some guarantees from NATO allies. Canada just announcing about $500 million in support, including some crucial weapons that Ukraine needs, some ammunition that Ukraine needs to keep the fight going. That is what Secretary Austin, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, others are stressing, that this is something that has to be sustainable. And Jens Stoltenberg actually reached out and told reporters that they were going to take a really hard look on how they can better sustain ammunition, not just to keep providing it to Ukraine, who desperately needs it for their counteroffensive, but also to replenish NATO stockpiles.
Carla, this war has gone on for more than a year. What's the battlefield assessment so far?
Well, the counteroffensive just started, and officials here are saying, yes, there are some losses. We've seen the reports of some armored vehicles that been destroyed by Russia. In fact, Secretary Austin kind of made a little bit of a joke saying we've seen those same 5 vehicles shown by the Russians over and over and over again. But Russia needs to know NATO and Ukraine's allies are committed to supporting them for as long as it takes. In fact, the United States just made an announcement for about $325 million in aid, which included some of the vehicles that had already been destroyed in the battlefield. So clearly a sign from the United States that they are not going to shy away from supplying Ukraine whatever it needs. And what another defense official told me is key to make a point of. This aid also includes spare parts, munitions, because they want Ukrainians to ultimately be able to repair everything that breaks, or as much as they can, in the battlefield themselves, and they don't want to wait until Ukraine absolutely needs it and has to have it. They want Ukraine to already have it in their stockpiles already.
And Carla, what's the status of the F-16 jets? What's the training like right now for those jets?
Yeah, big news about the F-16 training today. The defense minister of Denmark was actually saying that the training of F-16s, Ukrainians were going to start training in Denmark in August. So that is the first time that we've heard some sort of definitive timeline on when this training would occur. I am hearing from U.S. defense officials that this training is going to involve 24 pilots, and they're going to start training in Denmark. We are also hearing together that they are trying to set up another training location for 4th generation piloting training in some country in Eastern Europe. They didn't name that country yet, but that is another thing that is being developed at this time. But I do want to caution, just because the training is starting in August, you will not see F-16s flying over the skies of Ukraine, taking part in the battle anytime soon. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, was stressing that this requires a lot more than just learning how to fly a new plane. It requires language training, because in order to fly an F-16, you have to be fluent in English. It requires maintenance training. So there are a lot of different steps that are going to have to be taken before we'll actually see Ukraine get these F-16s.
Oh, Carla, thank you so much for your insight into this. It really opens our eyes as well. VOA's Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb, live for us from NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium.